in that area or you are planning to visit that area in Los Angeles, it's in Simi Valley, which is it's so gorgeous, and in my opinion, far more beautiful than Los Angeles because of it's far away from the big city. It's only a half an hour drive, but it's a world away, and you get to kind of see the things that are there, and that's before the things that we took there. So it's just really, it's an amazing exhibition.
We added Carrie's metal bikini and some personal items, her scripts, her blaster, some very personal things that normally wouldn't come out of the house. But because of what it was and who it was for, we went ahead and wanted to work with them because my mother was friends with the Reagans, and they have a wonderful legacy, and they had a philosophy and a set of values that I think we need.
Hi, I'm Melissa, and welcome to this month's Live From at the Reagan Library. Remember, we do these on the first Wednesday of every month. Now, if you watch these faithfully, you may remember that just a few months ago, in April of 2024, we came to you live from within these gallery walls. I am standing in the Reagan Library's special exhibition, Defending America and the Galaxy, Star Wars and SDI, and we came to you to showcase this exhibition, which really showcases the pivotal role that President Ronald Reagan played in the Strategic Defense Initiative, or SDI, and how it has a cross-section, we kind of explain it, to the Star Wars movie phenomenon. So why are we in here again? Well, just last month on July 9th, Todd Fisher, who is the son of Hollywood legend Debbie Reynolds and who also happens to be the brother of Carrie Fisher, came to the Reagan Library and lent us over 24 items, actual items that Carrie Fisher used in the films or were given to her as part of the film display. And so we thought it might be fun to come back into this exhibition today and highlight some of these items that are brand new. So whether you haven't been here yet or you came and you're looking for a reason to come back, we wanted to highlight some of those items. Now again, like always, we will be engaging with you live. So whether you're watching on LinkedIn or YouTube or Facebook, please, please, please go to that comment section. Tell me your name, tell me where you're watching so I can say hello or ask a question. We're going to be going to those screens throughout this entire program. In fact, I'm going to be going really soon. So go say hello to me. But just as an example, what's over my left shoulder right now is this painting of Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia of Alderaan that was part of her collection that Todd Fisher now owns. So again, just one of the about 24, 25 items he recently lent us. So how did he come to have these artifacts and these precious items? Let's actually hear from Todd himself.
My mother was the largest collector of Hollywood memorabilia in the world, and it began when the great studio systems, MGM, 20th Century Fox, etc., began to liquidate and be broken apart. Kirk Kerkorian purchased MGM Studios and then broke it up for its value in pieces, sold off the real estate, the back lots, and all of the artifacts, the costumes, the props, the sets, the riverboats, everything including the rose bushes. My mother single-handedly took it upon herself to try to save this stuff. She was kind of ridiculed, saying that she was just saving a bunch of junk. And my sister and I caught that infectious sort of passion.
It was so much fun to have Todd on our campus, and we're going to be going to him again very shortly with another really cool story. And I'm only about 30 seconds away from engaging with you, so please, please, please go say hi, give me your name and where you're watching from so I can give you a shout out. Of all the items he brought 2 of Carrie Fisher's director's chairs. The one I'm standing next to now is the actual chair she used for both Star Wars: A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back. We will be seeing the other one very shortly. But one of the things he gave us to put on display, I think, is just so much fun. So we're going to walk a couple steps here to my left. This is a life-size version of Yoda. Now, how did Carrie Fisher come to have this piece? So after the success of the movies, the Lucasfilm campus actually built a Yoda fountain, and they wanted the fountain to have a life-size version of Yoda. They then took the life-size version of Yoda and made a cast of it, and then made a bronze of that cast. This is the actual bronze of the cast of the fountain on Lucasfilm's campus, and believe it or not, this was in Carrie Fisher's front yard on her driveway, and it's just one, again, of the many, many items that Todd Fisher brought for us to be on display. So much fun. As I round the corner, we are going to see the second director's chair. This was from Return of the Jedi, which you're going to see right over here. And as you take a look at that, this is your cue. This is me going to you. So if you watch these, you know this is when I put on my glasses so I can actually say hi to you guys. Let's see. Does anyone have anything to say? So I'm going to kind of give you guys a behind the scenes while I talk to the crew over here. I'm not seeing any of the comments. So if people are commenting, I'm not seeing them. Please tell me your name, tell me where you're watching so I can say hi. It's my favorite part of doing these things. We might have to come right back to you as the team tries and finds those comments. I'm really sorry. Drop us your name. Tell me where you're watching so I can say hi. Ask a question about this exhibition, a question about Ronald Reagan or the Reagan Library. Again, I would love to be able to interact with you, so our team's going to try and figure that out. While they are figuring that out, I will go to our next item, which is actually this next to me here. So you may recall, if you did watch this in April, that we talked about all the different items in this exhibition. And one of the things we pointed out was that there are very many Star Wars traveling exhibitions. They happen all the time. But usually the traveling exhibitions are with fan recreations of the actual props and costumes. It was very, very important to us that we had the actual props and costumes, not the fan recreations. So we showed this to you last time as the sort of highlight big item in this whole exhibition. This is the actual dress that Carrie Fisher wore as Princess Leia in the first Star Wars movie, A New Hope, in the final scene when she is giving the medal to Han Solo and Luke Skywalker and Chewbacca. And the really cool fun fact about this dress was the first Star Wars movie, because they didn't know if they would be a success, was made on such a tight budget that they had only made one of these dresses. So whenever Carrie was wearing this, she couldn't eat, she couldn't drink, she couldn't do anything because they were so fearful it would get dirty. Well, when Todd was here last month, he actually brought us one of the original medals that she presented to Han Solo and Luke Skywalker in the film. So we added the medal to this case, which is really, really cool. So again, if you saw the dress before, you haven't seen the medal, so another reason to come out. So let's see, I don't know if they've fixed it. I will quickly take a look. It's possible they fixed it and no one's chatting with me. That is so sad. Leo Mendez, thank you. Thank you for watching, Leo. We really appreciate it. We miss the Reagan era too. Who else is watching? Please tell me hello. I'm seeing Leo on YouTube, but you can comment on Facebook or you can comment on LinkedIn. You guys are usually so chatty. Chat, please chat. But I will give you some more time. We're gonna come back. I am now going to come over here actually. So let's come over here. There's a handful of items in this case that, that Todd brought us, but there are two that I want to highlight. Is first this one. He brought actual lightsabers and stormtrooper blasters that were used in the films, but this was one of Carrie Fisher's lightsabers. And what's so spectacular about it is after the film was over, someone took Carrie Fisher's autograph signature and etched it into the side of the blaster for her, for us, well, for her, that we now have on display. And then in the corner of this case is really cool. So, of course, Carrie Fisher had a script for each of the 3 movies in the original trilogy. When the movies were over, her mother, Debbie Reynolds, took the 3 original scripts, took them to a bookbinder, actually had them encased in leather and had these fronts made, then brought all 3 leather books to George Lucas. George signed all of them. We have it open on one so you can see the signature and closed on the other 2, but just a really, really fun piece here. We are now going to go, so again, I said if you'd seen this before, you might have thought that the white dress was sort of the highlight of all the items we had. We have a new highlight. This is pretty spectacular as well. Everyone who's seen the movies, I think, can remember the scenes when Carrie Fisher was held prisoner by Jabba the Hutt. This is the actual metal bikini that Carrie Fisher wore in those scenes. And not only did Todd Fisher have the bikini, but he also has a painted portrait of Carrie in the bikini, and then I'm not sure if the camera's able to capture it, but on the other side of the case, we have an actual photograph of Carrie in the bikini at the beach, which is a really terrific photograph. So I think what we'll do now, we're going to go back to the screens in about 30 seconds, but before we do, let's actually go back to Todd Fisher, and he told us the most incredible story of the first time Star Wars A New Hope was released in the theaters. Carrie Fisher was too nervous to see it. So Todd and Carrie went together and saw the movie together for the first time, and he shared that story with us, and now we're going to share it with you.
So we go over to 20th Century Fox, which is right down off of Pico near Century City, and she's chain smoking in the parking lot, and she's like, man, this is like the end of my career. You know, I mean, I know I don't have like a giant career yet, but this could be it. I'm like, look, can we please go in? I mean, they're literally, the movie's started. Okay, fine. The lights are already down. We come in the dark. There's no seats left except the front row. We sit in the front row. Battle cruiser flies over, you know, and we had to literally lean our heads back because we were in the front row. And I looked over and I said, this is something special. Everybody roared through the movie, and then at the end of the movie, everybody applauded. It was like this huge reaction like that I don't remember seeing maybe ever in a movie. Now, the next day or two, we were going to go to Grauman's for the real opening. And I was standing at the front of the Grauman's Chinese Theater with Carrie. We saw people camping out on the streets. It was revolutionary.
So, what's more fun than going live and having technical issues? I'm being told there are people commenting on Facebook, and for some reason I can't see it. So our team's going to continue to try and figure that out. I so appreciate that you're watching. I so appreciate that you're commenting. We're going to do everything we can so I can say hi to you. But I do see on YouTube we have Mary E. watching from Texas. Thank you, Mary. William's watching from Ohio. You do have to get to the Reagan Library. It's extraordinary. I'm standing in only 5,000 square feet of this monstrous campus where you can climb on board Air Force One, walk in an Oval Office recreation, touch an actual piece of the Berlin Wall. You need to come out, William, you really do. Shrouded Luminicity Rob is asking if it's actual metal. You know, we were just told it was a metal bikini. It's an interesting question, and I can tell you, the one thing I can tell you, whereas this dress is the only version of this dress, there were multiple metal bikinis worn. And in fact, just like 3 or 4 days ago, one went up for auction and was sold. But we do have one of them, which is pretty cool. What's my favorite Star Wars movie? I actually think the third one, believe it or not. I think it's the third one. The whole thing of finding out that I am your father. I think it got to me. Thank you, Ricky. Leo Mendez, are these articles on Reagan Library in Simi Valley? Yes, I am standing on the Reagan Library campus in Simi Valley, California. This is our special exhibition hall. Oh, someone fixed Facebook. Thank you, team. Shout out to James and Mason and Andreas. Thank you, guys. We are on the Reagan Library campus in Simi Valley, and we have a special exhibition hall that can hold up to 10,000 square feet of an exhibition. Our last exhibition was on Auschwitz. It was extraordinary. Now it's on Star Wars and SDI, and we are about 2 months away from telling you what our next one, and it's one you're not going to want to miss. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to go to Facebook. We see Brian from Edina, Minnesota. That is awesome. Brock, yes, these are amazing pieces. And Robert, yes, Ronald Reagan was the best president ever. Please keep commenting. I'm going to go back to those. But before I do, I just want to point out, again, if you watched this in April, you're going to remember. But if this is your first time sort of being in this exhibition and seeing this live, I want to remind all of you that the Star Wars side is only half of this exhibition, because again, this exhibition is defending America and the galaxy, Star Wars and SDI. So the whole entire second half of this exhibition focuses on President Reagan's Strategic Defense Initiative, again, or SDI. So in March of 1983, President Reagan gave a national address to the nation, and in those remarks, he announced his plans to launch the Strategic Defense Initiative. Now, at the time, it was basically a research program created to try and figure out a way to either stop nuclear war or to stop a nuclear attack from happening. The very next day, Senator Ted Kennedy went on the news for a press conference, pre-scheduled press conference, and during the press conference, one of the members of the media asked the senator what he thought of Ronald Reagan's Strategic Defense Initiative. Senator Kennedy sort of scoffed and called it Star Wars, and that name stuck. President Reagan didn't like the connection with Star Wars because to President Reagan, the Strategic Defense Initiative was about peace, not about war. And he and his administration tried for years to separate themselves from the Star Wars moniker. In fact, they came up with a whole bunch of multiple different types of names to feed the media in hopes they could change the way the media referred to it. In fact, they even tried really hard to call it the Strategic Space Shield. It didn't stick. On the SDI side of this exhibition, we actually have some of the memos that were going around the Reagan administration trying to change the name to the Strategic Defense Initiative. But 2 years later, basically March of '85, President Reagan gave up because no matter what he did, no matter what his administration did, everyone called it Star Wars. So President Reagan gave up, gave another address to the nation, and pretty much called it Star Wars and told everyone, may the force be with us. So kind of funny. We talk about that in there. We have great artifacts in there, but the two highlights on that side, or the two I'll share with you right now, is we have an actual deactivated Cold War nuclear missile in that side of the gallery, and we also have a CLE, which is a Command Launch Equipment Console. It was in use until 2018. I think you're seeing a picture, and if you see a picture, you'll be surprised. You won't believe me that it was in use until 2018, but it truly was. It was in Colorado, in a Missile Defense Agency's location in Colorado, and its purpose was actually born out of the Strategic Defense Initiative. Its purpose was, if there ever was a nuclear attack on the United States, this CLE would launch and track any ground inceptor that the United States shot up to try and stop the nuclear attack from coming. So again, I've only highlighted a handful of items on the Star Wars side, only a handful of items from the Strategic Defense Initiative side. You really have to come and see it for yourself. And again, if you've already been out, come out again, because I've only touched on some of the items that Todd Fisher gave us. He gave us so much more. They're quite extraordinary. It's worth seeing. To purchase tickets or to learn more about this exhibition, you simply go to reaganlibrary.com/Star Wars. That's reaganlibrary.com/Star Wars. I'm going to do another quick look to see if anyone has added anything to the chat. Brent, launching SDI was brilliant. Thank you, Mr. President. It absolutely was. And what people don't know is this Strategic Defense Initiative, which was solely just a research program, became an organization called the Strategic Defense Initiative Organization, SDIO, which under Clinton changed its name, and then under, I think, Obama changed its name again to the Missile Defense Agency. The Missile Defense Agency is the actual agency today that's carrying out Ronald Reagan's ideas and thoughts and principles to help the Department of Defense keep abreast of everything that's going on and to potentially what they might need to do to stop a nuclear attack if it ever happened. In fact, the director of the Missile Defense Agency, Lieutenant General Heath Collins, was here on August 1st to give us a program. He spoke to us for about an hour on what the MDA does, what their mission is, what they're doing to protect our country's security. And you can watch that entire program on our YouTube channel, which some of you are watching now, youtube.com/Reagan Foundation. If you do a search for Reagan Foundation and Collins, Collins, you'll be able to watch that really fascinating program. Taylor, what is something we may not know about Ronald or Nancy Reagan? Do you know the story about Ronald Reagan and jelly beans? His favorite flavor is black licorice. Yuck. Sorry. My favorite's watermelon. And when he became president, because he was eating Jelly Bellies when he was governor, he really also liked red and white. And the Jelly Belly Candy Company, when Ronald Reagan was elected president, they wanted him to have red, white, and blue Jelly Bellies in the White House. So for the 1981 inauguration, the Jelly Belly Candy Company actually created the blue Jelly Belly, the blueberry Jelly Belly, so they could have red, white, and blue Jelly Bellies at the White House. President Reagan loved them so much, they were in his office, in the Oval Office, they were in his private restaurant, private residence, they were on Air Force One, and he would give them out as gifts to people who visited the White House. What do you not know about Nancy Reagan? Do you know her real name is Anne? How's that? Those are the two that I'm coming up with. Any other comments from, our friend from Japan. Excuse me, our friend from Japan, Hiroki, hi! I have no idea what time it is when you watch it. Tell me what time it is. I was really curious what time it is where you're watching. I find it incredible. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Again, you can learn more about this exhibition at reaganlibrary.com/Star Wars. We're only open for about another month, so please, please do come out and see it. And we hope to see you here. And we'll see you next month on the first Wednesday of September. Thanks for tuning in.
Defending America and the galaxy, Star Wars and SDI is in its final weeks at the Reagan Library. Dozens of new items have just been added from Carrie Fisher's personal collection, including her metal bikini from Return of the Jedi. Come face to face with this unique exhibition celebrating the real-world technology of Ronald Reagan's Strategic Defense Initiative and the Star Wars franchise. Defending America and the galaxy, Star Wars and SDI. Closing September 8th at the Reagan Library. Don't miss it.